Hey everybody, this is Lady She from How Michael Lady She podcast. Hey there. For my special guest on today, we want to connect with you guys about being mindful of spirituality, physical, and your mental health.
Sure.
So that is where Mr. James B. Samuels of Hempstead, New York, comes in. That he is the mindfulness coach and educator of JBS.
Just Be Still.
Yeah. Just Be Still. I love that. Where'd that come from?
Well, it's JBS is my initials.
Right.
And I was just trying to figure out not necessarily what can go with it, but I just noticed that every time I was going through these breathing techniques and these sessions, I would always come back to just be still.
Ooh,
and that was the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, just be still is also JBS. Let me make that my tagline.
Love that.
So it almost naturally just came just by doing the work, by working with people. And meditation and mindfulness sometimes gets this idea that you can't do it. So just be still is kind of like the message. Don't even worry about if you're doing it right, if it's wrong, if it's like, am I breathing the right way?
Right.
You get all that.
Yeah, just be still.
Just be still.
That is fire.
Yeah.
Listen, God be knowing y'all. Y'all better stop playing out here. JBS, James B. Samuels, and Just Be Still.
Yes.
I'm excited for you.
Yes.
I felt all of that. Just by that. Love to see it.
Yep,
all right, so Hempstead, New York.
Yes.
Y'all already know how we give it up. I told you we got some dope people from my town. I don't know where they're sleeping on us. That's all I'm gonna say. So what was it like? Just give us a little briefing of what it was like growing up in Hempstead.
Oh man. I think for a large part of my life you hear about towns and cities like Compton and like Philly and like all of these rough areas.
Right.
And you think that, oh, I'm just from Hempstead. Like I know I'm not as tough as those guys over there, or like I don't have it as hard as them over there.
Right.
But like it was kind of like, it was dangerous sometimes. And there was a lot of love in the family, a lot of love in the community, but it was also a lot of situations where I could get myself into like some trouble, and I think looking back, just being around the community at 11 years old, my cousin was like, yo, walk with me real quick. And then he walks up the block, he pulls out, a bag of weed that he wants to sell, and he ends up selling it. And I'm there with him.
Right.
Being in that space, like boom, just like that.
Come on, James.
You can go from like
Mr. Samuels,
throwing a football, back and forth with your friend, to like being a part of something where you can get yourself arrested.
Absolutely.
So it was on both sides. Like I had a great time, but as I look back and as I reflect, it was definitely some pockets of trouble that I could have got myself into just by being outside.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Thank you for sharing that, because that's how easy it is for you to be in a situation that you can't get yourself out of, because all that person had to do was be like, y'all together.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's
you know
it.
What I'm saying?
That's it.
Mr. JBS probably wouldn't even happen if it would have been a whole other way. Okay, exactly. But we here now. Love to hear it.
Taking those lessons though, and
absolutely,
making it into something that is the testimony. And how can we speak to kids in the same situation, kids in the same, same, maybe not the same exact neighborhood, but same type of neighborhoods,
right?
And saying that, I see you,
yes.
And there is a way through, there is a way out. Just stay focused on, what you believe in, your passions and your purpose, and you'll find a way through. So like that's always kind of the message of like, I'm here with you. Don't think that I'm talking from a place like I'm up here. Like, no, I've sat in your seat. So let's take this walk together.
Yeah, let's get it.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I ain't no better than you. Come on now. Yes, I know that's so important for people, to kids, especially youth, to feel like they can relate to you, because a lot of times they don't feel like they can relate to adults. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. So now, growing up in Hempstead, sharing that scenario, making it clear that, first of all, we live in Long Island, but there's hoods everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear, there's hoods everywhere. Both of your parents were in law enforcement, right? So what was that like?
It was, I don't really know like how to pinpoint it. It was tough love all the time. Okay. But they never really brought it home in terms of like how they parented.
Okay.
Maybe they did, but I didn't really pick up on it. I think just having my mom, my stepdad, who was like my father, in the house together, was a really, just provided some stability that a lot of people around me didn't have.
Right.
And just looking back, your parents aren't perfect. My mother wasn't perfect, my dad wasn't perfect, but just them being there, providing that support system, and like just having that level of just discipline,
right,
and helping me move forward and not letting me get away with stuff. I think that was the main thing, because there's so many pitfalls that they were like, no, where you going? 8 o'clock. I say curfew, right?
Right.
8 o'clock. What time is it? 8:05. I was like, so they just really was able to, I don't know, just instill some good values into me, and I don't know if they got that from being in law enforcement, but just them being together in that space just kind of helped me, get my stuff together.
Got you. So now, give us a little background about your education.
Yeah. So I am psychology degree.
Okay.
Exercise science and physical education degree, master's degree. So when we think about like where I am now with teaching mindfulness, I've always had like this interest in like the mind body connection. So psychology and exercise science, you bring that together to what I'm doing now.
Right.
It's it's pretty much spot on. I think now. I've been an educator for 15 years, teaching physical education, character development, mindfulness, and it's just all been a growing process for me.
Okay.
But I'm in a space now where I just feel like, our health and wellness is of the utmost importance.
Yeah.
And we have to start figuring out how can we get different programs into schools and different programs into the community, where our kids are not just moving, but they're able to like balance their emotions, a lot of social emotional learning, different breathing techniques we could teach them to like calm themselves down, to pause, so they're not like reacting to situations, but they're more so responding. So like things like that. So I'm coming from a space where I'm learning about the psychology, I'm learning about what the body can do. Now I'm in a space where I'm just trying to teach it and be as accessible as I possibly can.
Love that. Yeah. And I feel like your timing is like impeccable, because there's so much going on in the schools. We see the videos going viral of, not just children reacting or overreacting to situations amongst each other, but it's also they're getting physical with the educators. So it's a thing where teachers is like, I'm out.
Yeah.
They're like, I did not sign up for this.
Quitting on the spot.
No, that's a fact. That's what's happening. And so something has to be done, because, as educators, they're like the most important person next to pastors, as far as I'm concerned. This is just my opinion, because you come right after the parent. If the parent is not teaching at home, the next person to be teaching is the educator.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So for one, thank you for your service. Let me say man. That.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
And we got to also do a better job of, taking care of the teachers. I think, right now I'm in a space where, that's a big part of the programming. How can we make sure the kids are okay, but also how can we provide like professional development for the teachers? So I've been into several schools where I walk teachers through, how do you calm yourself down in this, tumultuous or just kind of like unstable situation, and give them different tools that you can use. Something physical you could do to put yourself in a state where you're here and now, fully present. Something mental where you can do some sort of like journaling and reflection, and then something emotional or spiritual where you can like breathe through what you're actually feeling, to take yourself, like just to remove yourself from like this, whatever is like that stimulus. It could be a kid in your face like, yo, miss, I can't stand you. I can't stand you, miss. Like, what you do in that situation? It's like, you don't know I'm from Hempstead, son? Like yo, like you must have forgot like where I'm from. Get out my face, little boy, little girl. Like you, so like being in that space, like how do you then be like, all right, let me cut off the emotion. let me take a step back, figure out what I'm feeling, and then like approach the situation from a different perspective, from a different lens.
Absolutely.
So like that's some of the tools that I'm providing teachers in, the teacher workshops that I do all over the city.
Love that, love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I felt that thing because, like I said, a lot of stuff is going on. We see it going viral, and it's like, help us. Like, what can we do? Like they're clearly everybody's dealing with so much, and you don't know which way to go if you don't have the tools. So, yeah, come on, help us. Yeah. So now with that, explain to them, what is a mindfulness coach?
Mindfulness coach. So mindfulness is being in the present moment.
Okay.
So my body's here, and then knowing you're in the present moment. So my body's here, my focus, my mind is here, my emotions are here. I'm aware of like my surroundings.
Right.
And then knowing that.
Okay.
A coach just helps you to figure out moments where you're not practicing mindfulness, you're not being mindful, and when you are doing it, and like to highlight those things. So if you don't focus on it, you're not going to feel it. So how can we, continue to let people know when you are being mindful, when you are being present, and then when you're not. So like, for example, we keeping it with educators and keeping it into the school system. So like, again, with the kid or with the disrespectful behavior of the child, like during that space, sometimes people can hold their composure and be like, you know what? I don't have time for this right now. You're being extremely disrespectful. I'm going to follow up with you, maybe give a phone call with your parents.
Right.
And then we'll take it from the next steps from here. But that's a teacher being in control of their emotions.
Right.
They're being mindful of their emotions. They're being probably mindful of that kid experience. Like, what has to happen to that child to show up to my space that angry, that aggressive?
That
so,
part.
like, you gotta not only see like what you're feeling, but what that kid might be dealing with too. So,
absolutely,
like, that is an example of how a teacher is practicing mindfulness. Just being in the present moment, and we highlight that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that's what it's about, and then also recognizing when it's not happening, and some of those moments are probably more obvious than, and more. Those are the moments that go viral.
Right.
When a teacher loses it, when a teacher breaks because they are, they just forget where they are, or they just, are not connected with what the situation is. So like those are the times where you want to get in, but also highlighting the fact that mindfulness is already being practiced. It's just about focusing on your body, mind, your spirit, your emotions, your surroundings, and knowing that you're in the present moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I know that you had. Do you still have? You had like a Zoom going.
Yeah.
So what brought you to this point where you were like, I need to get involved, or what sparked the interest? Where you like, I'm taking the next step to actually be a coach, and want to implement it in the schools.
Yeah.
What got you to that place?
Well, one, I've been practicing, mindfulness for 10 years.
Okay.
And I got my own practice.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, and compounded with the murder of George Floyd,
right,
a lot of family members and friends were reaching out to me and saying, I know you practice this. It's supposed to help you calm down. I'm in this house with my kids or with something, and I'm like stressing out. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And you get enough of those calls, you're like, all right, bet. Like, I'm going to be on Zoom.
Love that.
At 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, or I think it was started at 7 o'clock. 7 to 8. I'll be on Zoom 3 days a week. You come through, we're going to do something physical. We'll do something reflection, inspirational. And then we'll also do something where you're like practicing breathing techniques. So like that's where it all started. Where like it was just a need for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
People just needed it, and
it was a demand. Just saying that for somebody who keeps trying to figure out what they want to do. It's a demand.
Yeah,
it was a demand.
And they were like, all right, so I didn't know. Of course, I'm a teacher. Of course, I'm a coach, but I didn't know how good I would be at walking people through how to meditate,
right,
and how to practice breathing techniques. But it just sort of started to come natural. And then some people at the end of the session would say like, I get it, but I just didn't feel it. I just didn't like, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And like by, month 2, people were like, wow.
Yeah.
Like that felt really good. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was just me just getting more secure with
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I know it.
Right.
I think in the beginning it was like, let
That
me
was
give
good.
you every
Mm-hmm.
every little technique in one session. You're gonna get
Right.
15 techniques. And it was like, no, pare it down,
Yeah.
give people one thing to focus on, and
Mm-hmm.
like really get granular in that approach,
Mm-hmm.
and like let people feel it. And then
Right.
like that was it. And
That
like
was it.
I think we try to do too much when we insecure about
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what
Ooh.
we know. You know what I mean? Like
Come
I
on.
know I
Come
know
on,
it.
Mr. James.
You
You
know what I
chose
mean?
violence.
Like I know it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. I'm like almost have this like imposter syndrome
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't been doing it for that long.
Right.
But like once you get into a space where like you got the information,
Mm-hmm.
like you know
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing, just
Mm-hmm.
like deliver it.
Right.
Don't overdo it. Don't do too much because
That part.
people not going to get it if you're
Mm-hmm.
doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Just give people something that they could take away, make it accessible, and that's when it started really, taking off for me, where I was able to really get people in a space where they were like relaxed, chill,
Yeah.
calm.
Ooh, nothing like it.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
nothing like being in tune. Word, for real.
Yeah,
So now you said you were already doing it for 10 years.
yeah.
What started you
Oh,
getting to
that's
that
good.
place?
Well, boom, bring it back to education.
Okay.
So I had a third grade class
Mm-hmm.
who would show up. It was after lunch, after recess. And I'm like, damn, these kids gonna come
Like, they coming.
all right. And they would show up and it would be every day,
Mm-hmm.
like on schedule, turn up time.
Right.
And I'm like, PE, breathing teacher, like this is supposed to be fun. We're supposed
Right.
to calm down. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna stretch our bodies, we're gonna move, we're gonna chill. But nah, man, they were like not
Not so
having it.
much.
So
Wow.
one day I was like, you know what? Let me stretch,
Mm-hmm.
let me breathe. I didn't know I was meditating or practicing anything. I was just like, let me just get into a calm space. And what I realized after doing that for about 30 minutes, the kids showed up. I was chill
Okay.
and they were in line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's up, guys? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? And
Mm-hmm.
the energy was just so much different. And they came into the room, they did the warm up, they did the lesson, they
Right.
did the closing,
Mm-hmm.
and I had zero behavior issues.
Nice.
So what I took from that is that, we say, these kids are crazy, these kids are out of control. But like, was it the kids the whole time?
Right. Come on.
What or
He
was
is
it
choosing violence.
or
Okay.
was it me
Yeah.
who needed
Your
an
energy.
adjustment? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So like that's when it started. It's like, oh, these kids, there's nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna show up. They're gonna follow my lead.
Mm-hmm.
So before every class, not just them, before like the day,
Mm-hmm.
before any class would show up, I would just make sure that I would check in with myself
Love that.
and make sure like I was in a space where I was ready to just be as compassionate as possible,
Mm-hmm.
just be as loving as
Mm-hmm.
possible and giving, and be ready to inspire these kids because that's what they need. That's what they're here
Absolutely.
for,
Right. Right.
So I got to show up right so they
Mm-hmm.
can like follow my lead.
Love that.
You know what I
That
mean?
was so good.
No, thank
Hello.
you.
That was good. So do you feel like you saw a big shift when it came to the pandemic? Like with the kids
Shift in the kids in terms of what? What do you
from before?
before? I think, to be honest, I think the pandemic for the kids, the adults kind of stressed them out.
Yeah.
I think the kids were super resilient. I think the kids made the shift from in person to remote learning
Mm-hmm.
like that. A lot of them, not every kid,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, from what was happening in the news,
Yeah.
what was happening with like the civil unrest,
Mm-hmm.
um, adults speaking around children during those times because everybody's in the house, that was probably one of the main causes of kids being so anxious, so stressed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But coming back out of the pandemic, I did see that kids did need a little bit of an adjustment,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't addressed. I think adults did too.
Yes,
Like coming
absolutely. Some still need.
That's that's why that's the whole purpose and the whole mission is to get into these spaces where people need help. People need just to be recalibrated, refocused in a way where, and if we have the skill set to do that, like if I have a skill set to come in and help you calm down and help you focus on what's important to you, then like why not?
Right.
So I think the teachers and the students are in need of what happened what's still happening post pandemic, and we gotta just get into a space where we're able to address the fact that teachers felt a little bit unappreciated, or almost like downgraded to babysitter because they wanted the kids to go back into the schools so the parents can get back to work. But there wasn't a whole lot of teaching happening, and the way education looked during those times was way different from the way it looked before and after. So I think there's a lot of things to be addressed, and the health and wellness of the students and the teachers, I think, is like number one. You can't teach a kid anything. You can't expect the teacher to go into a classroom full of 25, 30 kids if they're not right themselves.
Absolutely. So. Thank you for saying that, because I don't think people really get it a lot of times with educators. It's not just they going crazy, they're humans.
For sure.
They're going through stuff as well, and then they have to deal with your children. You don't want to deal with your children.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with 30 of them at once.
Right.
You got one or two in the house that's driving you crazy, or whatever you want to say, and I got 30 that I have to manage. Like that's a skill set. That's a craft.
That absolutely is. It's a gift as well.
It's a gift, but it's a craft that can be taught. You could teach somebody how to be a good teacher, or like how to get the attention of 35 kids in a room, and then how to keep that attention, and how to have your lessons set up so like where the pitfalls might come.
Right.
You know which students might get out of line because this activity has a little lull in it. So let me make sure I step to this kid and say, hey, listen, this is not as active for you, so make sure you stay focused. Like that's a skill, like, so to have all of that goodness be like downgraded to, we just need you to watch the kids. It's like, what? For real?
It's like dropping off the grandma.
Exactly. Like,
we just gotta go to the store by ourselves right now. We just want to take a drive.
It's like, I'm nice with this teaching thing. I like it's
put some respect on my name.
For real. Like it's an actual craft that you get better at over time. And like so like having that where it's like, okay, we just need you to watch the kids so we can get back to work. And that was stressful. That was stressful for a lot of educators, and I think we gotta do a better job of saying sorry for that.
Absolutely. Hello.
Like, yo, my bad.
You can say sorry with extra money too. Throwing that out
for sure. For sure.
You can say sorry with extra
money. We need that.
Yeah,
they need that.
They absolutely need that. Come on, man.
Oh, man.
We gotta keep it a buck. So now, with the program, is this something? All right, you want it to be. You would love for it to be rather implemented in different schools, correct?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Yeah, so it's like pretty much a curriculum. Okay. So program is called the Sport of Mindfulness. And it's like when you are being attacked by anxiety, being attacked by stress, attacked by worry, what are some tools, what are some strategies that you can utilize to like battle that? So if panic, stress, anxiety, worry was your defense, like what's your offensive strategy to like, balance that out? You know what I mean? So the Sport of Mindfulness is just that. We're just giving kids some tools so they can battle these not gonna call them demons, but like these things that are causing them to feel
what's going on internally.
Exactly, not as well, not as healthy.
Okay.
And we do that again through movement. We have exercise routines, stretching and balance routines. We have a social emotional learning through play.
Okay.
And of course there's reflection and breathing techniques. So all of that I think will be It will be a game changer in terms of what mindfulness looks like in schools.
Okay.
Right now, we're asking kids, you want to practice mindfulness? Okay. Sit down, be quiet, and breathe.
Right.
But think about every class a kid goes to. The kids leave math to go to science. The science teacher says, okay, sit down, be quiet. Mm-hmm. Kids leave science to go to social studies. Okay, sit down, be quiet. Mm-hmm. Now you want to practice mindfulness. So you tell the kid to do what? Sit down and be quiet. We got to switch it up. Mm-hmm. Get up, move. Let's move around. So if you want a kid to sit down and be quiet, let's get them moving first. Right. And then get them just engage with their body, their physical activity, and have them be mindful of something specific that they're doing. And then along the way, at the very end, we taper it off to now you're sitting down and being quiet.
Gotcha.
After we giving you an opportunity to move and get your energy out. Gotcha. So that's the program catered to 3rd through 5th grade, but I do want it to make it 3rd and up. Right now, just the content is really catered to 3rd through 5th grade, but I think I want to get it into as many schools as possible. Yes. It's going to be ready in September. I'm going to take the rest of this year.
Let's go.
Rest of this school year in the summertime to really flesh it out. Curriculum outline is done.
Okay.
The unit outline is done. So we know where it's going. We just got to land it with just building out the lessons. So, but that just takes doing it, and having the time to do it. But it's to get the sport of mindfulness curriculum into as many schools as possible, just because we want to just make communities exceptionally healthy and well. Exceptional health and wellness for communities all around the world. That's the vision.
Right.
So if we could do that and give kids an opportunity to experience, their own version of health and wellness, then man, that's the goal.
That's everything.
And then we can the education part becomes a little bit easier.
That part.
Because we feel better. So that's the move.
Everybody's happy, everybody feeling good. They connected spiritually, mentally, physically. Everybody good. You showing up to school, everybody's hello and getting through the programs. That's what it's absolutely about. I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. We gotta make that happen. So September, people.
Yes.
So now I want you to also tap into because I know you were a basketball player, which I'm sure you dealt with the bad talk and the crazy talk and having to deal with people talking junk and talking crazy. Even as an educator too, I'm sure you got probably little riffs and stuff like that. So what about kids that play sports or into different things and they're dealing with the bullying and stuff like that? Is there something connected to the curriculum that's connected to that exact thing? Because we are watching children, 11-year-old literally this week committed suicide. So our kids are hurting in ways that maybe the parents don't see, or maybe sometimes the schools don't take it serious. It's just a thing where kids are just going to be kids, as they say, which we got to stop saying that. We got to see what's going on with them. So what are your thoughts about that connected to the program?
Yeah, I think we have, so the captains, we have the captain's principles, stands for communication, appreciation, presence, time management, attitude, integrity, know, and support. So under each of them, there are 2 subcategories, but the communication, for example, is the first one is speak kind words.
Okay.
And then the second one under communication is, listen with empathy, and I think using just that one principle, the first principle of communication, I think the thing went off.
It probably did.
It probably did. Just using that one principle can definitely address any bullying issues. Because one, let's tap into the person who's doing the bullying.
Okay.
How can we get into a space where we're listening to them? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What is happening in your space? What is happening in the home? What's happening in the classroom? And then really putting them in a space where they can talk through it. I think going straight for the punishment because you're bullying this kid, let's get you suspended, or let's protect the child who's getting bullied. I think all that needs to happen as well, But what are the things that we're doing before that happens? Some of that pre-work, you know. So how do we front load the conversation around speaking kind words, the conversation around listening with empathy, the conversation around gratitude? Like how do we put that in their spaces where they have the information beforehand and now they have the opportunity to use it or not.
Right.
But it's like, don't tell me that you don't know how to speak kind words after we went through this curriculum and you've gone through this and you've taken a test and you've did the reflection pieces, you've done the homework, and now you're bullying somebody.
Right.
So like we gotta do a better job of doing the front loading. How do we give them the information first?
Right.
And does that address the bullying that's happening right now, like at this very moment? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But you know, I think we have to start somewhere where we're giving them the information first.
Yeah.
We're giving them the tools first.
Right.
And then we're going to say, now that you got the tools, go build. I think we're telling them to go build healthy relationships right now without the tools. Right. So we just got to give them the tools first, help them understand that you don't hit people with the hammer, you hit the nail with it. You don't poke people with the screwdriver, you like use it to screw in that nail.
Right.
So, or that screw. So like once they have the tools, let's help them use them properly. You know, so I think that is how we do that. How we, you know, just give them, just you got to educate them first.
Absolutely.
And not be reactive, but more so proactive.
Absolutely. You got to definitely be proactive. I feel like we have to give our kids more credit. You know, we just be like, they don't listen. You know, they bad. They this. And like you said, you know, getting ahead of things is always the same thing with adults too. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have it all together. We need tools for certain things. We need tools to be married. You need tools. You know, to be parents, you need tools. So, you know, these are things you want to get ahead of and start learning before you go into taking those positions. Okay.
I was just talking with a friend earlier today about, you know, some of the things we've discussed and how I helped him become a better husband because of some of the things that I went through, and I was just able to give him some of those tools. Like, listen, why are you arguing?
Right.
She's right. Yo, stop it. Stop it.
You only hurt yourself.
You know what I'm saying? Stop it. She's right. She's right. Okay?
The end.
And then when it calms down,
right.
Go back in. And not with like malice, not with any sort of like, I'm trying to prove you wrong.
Yeah, I told
like,
you so.
Like just be a person who's willing to be wrong first. Like that's a skill set. That's a tool that people don't know. You just gotta. People just want to keep going back and forth at each other, but you know.
Yeah, they want to win.
Yeah,
they want to win.
Forget the winning,
they
man.
Win the arguments. Sometimes you gotta just let it mellow out.
Let it die down.
And live to see another day.
Exactly. Go in at another event on another occasion. to get that done. You know. So yeah, man. It's all about equipping people with the proper tools, teaching them how to use them appropriately to help them build their future, help them build their relationships. But you can't build without tools.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now, just looking at, you know, I mentioned this situation with, you know, the little girl, you know, killing herself. One of the things I love that you mentioned was, you know, how are you showing up into the room, you know, when the kids were coming in. I think a lot of times, even with parents, you know, educators as well, we don't evaluate ourselves. We just like, we're right because we're the adult. So can you kind of tap into that when it comes to, because you also deal with outside of just the educators and students.
Yep.
You deal with us's as well. So, you know, kind of tap into that, you know, some of the people you may have encountered dealing with anxiety. Depression is a serious thing right now. A lot of people going through a lot.
Yes.
Some people still are trying to figure things out from the pandemic. You know, they went through deaths, losing people that were close to them. And you still got to show up to work. You still got to show up to your relationship. You still got to show up to be a parent. So can you kind of tap into that a little bit?
Yeah, I just think having, again, just some skill sets, just some little quick hitters that you can do before the kids show up, before you step into an intense argument or an intense conversation that you're about to have with a child, with a student, with a spouse, with anybody that you know is going to be tension there, just having a quick little, one hitter, like boom, I can quickly calm myself down by just doing this one thing. So like, let's just say the just be still is the tagline, but it's also a breathing technique.
Right.
So I know I'm about to come in, do a podcast. Let's say I see the lights go, oh man, I see the camera go, oh man. And then in that space, maybe I get a little anxious. So before the camera start, I'll sit down and just like in and out, just breathing through the nose. I'll breathe in, I'll breathe out, and I'll say just. Breathe in, breathe out, be. Breathe in, breathe out, still. And then for 30 seconds, I'll just let my breath flow naturally. I'll pay attention to like my body being completely still. And then I'll pay attention to any sounds in a room, like the sound of that light. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like the sound of somebody walking past in a hallway. It's just like bringing all of those senses, like heightening it.
Right.
But just being still, just being focused. And then after that 30 seconds, boom, I open my eyes and now I'm ready to have that conversation with that irate student, or I'm ready to, turn the cameras on and get busy on this podcast.
Like he's doing, because he's definitely getting busy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I'm ready for those things now because I've just taken a minute, like literally a minute.
Literally.
I compare it to like how coaches on sports teams utilize their timeouts. So like you could tell a good coach by the way he or she utilizes their timeouts. So some timeouts are just like, you've been running for a lot, we need you to rest. Some timeouts are like strategic, where like they started pressing us, now we got to go into our press breaker. Some timeouts are like, you guys are not playing hard enough. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different ways that you utilize your timeout. So when like a teacher is about to receive a group of students that may not be as pleasant as he or she would like them to be, and in that space before the students show up, if you have just something quick and easy that's going to take you 30 seconds to 60 seconds, like those are the things that we want to put into those spaces where it's like you got the tools now.
Right.
So you don't, not that you don't have an excuse to show up as your best self, but now you have more reasons to. You're more equipped to be able to do those things.
Okay. Do you feel like more women or more men reach out to you in reference to, the mindfulness?
I definitely think more women. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm so handsome.
He's very married. Don't play. We ain't playing them games.
No, I'm just saying. But I don't know. Here's what I do know. I do know this. I do know from kindergarten, all the way from kindergarten, the girls are so much more in tune with their emotions. From 5 years old, you watch a group of boys, 5-year-old boys, first grade, second grade, third grade boys, they're out of control, throwing the football, running up and down the place. Not that that's a bad thing, but then the girls are like just so sophisticated emotionally.
Right.
They got like these these situations amongst each other that are so complex that the boys can't even grasp it.
Right.
So from like a young age, the girls are so advanced with their understanding of their emotions and how someone hurt their feelings, and are able to communicate that in a way where the boys just, they can't even start, they can't even begin.
Right.
So as you grow up into adulthood, my assumption is that some of that still persists, where the women, they know, like I'm feeling something right now, and the men, maybe they do know that they're feeling it, but they don't know necessarily how to explain it,
right,
how to communicate that. But yeah, so I think that might be the reason. From a young age, like the girls are just so much more with it,
right,
when it comes to like knowing what their emotions are telling them,
right.
And the boys are kind of like,
it's whatever.
Yep. Wipe the dirt off.
Like,
keep
yeah,
going.
for real. Like, it's whatever. I was mad, but I'm good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I asked that because unfortunately I gotta bring this up again. It started to be an influx of the men committing suicide. And it's something, this one of the reasons why I also had James come on, because our men are going through things emotionally, and it's hurtful to me. As a boy mom, as a sister, as a mom, as a daughter, all these different things. And I love you guys. We love you. So I really want it to be a thing where you men get used to understanding that we're here. And that it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to be like, I got it together. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be like, I ain't really got it together. But maybe I need to speak to another male who can get me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's just, again, just being accessible, I think mindfulness, emotions, social emotional learning, and all of that stuff, what we the things that we sell to our men is never softer. We always try to put on our men, you have to be harder, you have to be, the protector, the provider, you can't show emotion. But a lot of times I think men internalize that. And when it is time to seek out some help, or seek out someone who may be able to provide that support for you emotionally, it's not coming from a person who sounds like them, who looks like them, who can possibly relate to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, JBS right there, like, yo, if I'm having some emotional issues, I'm gonna hit him up. He from Hempstead. It sounds like he's speaking my language. He's like neighborhood dude. Let me go to him and see what he can offer.
What he got going on.
But how many people are like that? Like, how many of us exist out there in the world where I'm from the hood, I'm from the city, so like, and I'm going to speak to you in a way where it's not me speaking down on you, me speaking over your head with all of these concepts that you can't quite grasp, that I don't really even know the definition of either. It's like real talk. And like, how do we walk through this breathing technique to get you in a space where you're present? Because if you're present, you're not worried about that thing that didn't happen, or that thing that's about to happen. You're here, you're now, you're in a space, and that's where you feel more at peace. That's where you feel your most joyful. That's where you feel your most loving. So if we can get you in the present moment with the breathing technique, with the different tool or different tools that we can provide, then it's like, that's the goal. You know what I mean? And not try to talk over your head or make you feel like this is so intricate you can't grasp it. We just want to make it as accessible as possible, for men, for women, for kids, for teachers. Like, you got to be able to reach out and grab it. And like, say, this is easy to hold on to.
And I just feel like it's time. I honestly feel that way. I feel like it's time for people to understand that everything's connected. That it's okay to want to evolve, and be better mentally, physically, also, spiritually. I just really feel like it's time. So thank you. For what you're doing, and especially for our babies. I got a heart for the kids, man. I love the kids. So
same, appreciate
the kids are our now.
Yes.
They're not our future. They're literally our now. And as much as we hear the crazy stuff, I'm proud of our youth.
For sure.
They're leading rallies. They have voices in this time. You know what I'm saying?
I think they are
we
here.
have to cultivate that.
They are here to teach us. Our kids are here to teach us. My twin daughters were born. Automatically, I became a student of life, and they became my teachers.
That was good.
They taught me how to love. They taught me how to be more patient. They taught me how to be kinder, gentle. So like, if you pay attention to your kids, they will teach you how to be a better human being.
Woo!
So like, you right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, put that in a rap.
That's facts. Facts. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. So like, that's how I see the youth, not as like people we have to educate. Yeah, we got to give them tools. Yeah, we got to teach them how to be safer. Yeah, we got to teach them how to navigate through the world. But pay attention to them. Take notes. Like, your kids will teach you so much about yourself, so much about life, that you'll start to realize that they are here to educate us and not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on with the bar. That's how you close out too. Let me say that. So now principals, educators, how do they connect with you? How do they reach out to you? How do we get this thing started?
Yeah.
We're waiting for September. I'm excited about September.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah. So just email jbs@jamesbsamuels.com. I am just really focused on like building a product, building a service, so like it's the best it possibly can be. So right now, like the social media is not like as tight as I want it to be.
Right.
Like come back a year from now, it's like, yo, it's all finished. Yeah, but like right now, it's like, how can we provide people with the absolute best service that we possibly can? Like the quality is great each and every time. Is well planned out, is well thought through. Like that's what's been the focus. So, yes, reach out through email. Website is jamesbsamuels.com.
Okay.
Just check me out because the work is there. We putting in the time, we putting in the energy, and the goal is for people to leave with a sense of feeling a deeper sense of connection and belonging to their community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, are you a big reader?
Yes. I wasn't in school, but after school, I just mainly like self-help books, business books, mindfulness books, books on religion. Not a big fiction reader, but like I've read over 150 books in maybe the last, I would say, 5 years.
Okay, yeah,
Just
5 years. My mark too. I've been reading a lot.
Yeah, just like really just trying to build that up. I do a lot of audio books from on the move.
Okay.
So I do count that as reading. Like that's not really reading. It is reading. But I also, sit down, page turners, and just like really diving through because, what people got the blueprint. Like people telling us, like whether it be financial success or freedom, whether it be emotional health and wellness, whether it be physical, people have written it down already.
Absolutely.
So we're out here like trying to figure it out. It's in a book. You know what I mean?
You know what they say though.
You want to hide something? Put it in the book.
He said it.
Yeah, but it's
Just
there.
saying,
So I
it's
think
what it is.
I had to like evolve into that space where I became an avid reader. Like every month there is a book either in my hands or in my headphones.
Right.
So like, and try to keep that as something that I consistently do, because you got to be, even an avid reader, voracious learner, or whatever it is. You got to make sure you are constantly taking in information.
Yeah, feeding.
That's going to help you, provide either a better service for someone, to be a better partner, a better spouse, whatever whatever your aspirations are to be better in some spaces. You gotta read.
Yeah,
you gotta
you
like
do.
take it in. It sounds so corny, right? It sounds so cliche. You gotta read,
You gotta
boy.
read.
It's
Read
like
is fundamental.
read is fundamental. Like no, but it's for real.
It's for real.
If you want to be better at anything, even if it's not reading, pick up something or talk to somebody who's just going to give you a different perspective from what you think it is now, and then help you like get a holistic approach to whatever subject you're trying to go after. So I think that's what reading does.
Absolutely.
It really like builds that foundation around you where you're just more knowledgeable about what steps to take next.
Okay. Love that. Give us a book that we need to get. Give us a book we need to get connected to what you're doing.
It's a lot. Book, I would say this only because I've read it like 15 times.
Okay.
It's The Power of Now.
I got that book.
The Power of Now.
Dang.
It could be.
Okay.
It has words like awareness and consciousness in it. So like it could be a little.
That was confirmation.
You know what I mean? It could be a little woo-woo for some people. But like the information that I've taken from that really set me out on a path. Like just be present. If you're present, then the anxiety, the worry will start to wash away a little bit. If we get too caught up in thinking about what's coming next, we get too caught up thinking about, damn, I should have did that thing that I didn't do. And then we lose sight of the fact that we are in the present moment.
Right.
And I think the book, The Power of Now, written by, I think it's Eckhart Tolle, he really just demonstrated that for me in a way that he just communicated that in a way where I just never heard it phrased in that way. But The Power of Now is a book that I've read many times.
Okay.
And I do recommend that one. It's
all right, cool.
It's not old book, but it is a book that really grounded me into thinking like, yo, the present moment, y'all.
Like, let's go.
The present moment, where is that?
Yeah, for sure.
That's one of the books that set me off.
Okay, love that. Yeah. All right, so email jamesbsamuel.org, you said?
.com. jamesbsamuels.com.
Okay.
Email is jbs
at
jamesbsamuels.com.
At jamesbsamuels.com. Yeah. But they can also look on Instagram. Your link is in the Instagram as well,
yep,
correct?
Instagram, like I said, the Instagram is not like fully business ready. Facebook is there, not fully business ready. LinkedIn is there.
Okay.
But like I've been really focused on creating a bomb ass service.
September is up. That's what basically saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it will be there.
Okay.
But Instagram I'm on, Facebook I'm on, LinkedIn I'm on, and then you can check out the website.
Awesome. Yeah. We love to see it. All right, leave us with a quote or whatever comes to mind, because I'm excited.
Yeah. A quote.
yeah.
Well, I'll just say this: the quote of the day. Just be still.
I knew he wasn't gonna fail me. I knew he wasn't gonna fail me. I knew it because I'm like, hello.
Right?
Just say the word.
Just be still.
JBS, James B. Samuels, just be still with the mindfulness. We have the mindfulness coach in the building. Listen, I feel better already.
Yeah.
And I ain't being dramatic right now.
Nice.
Because I'm in the moment.
Yes.
All right?
For sure.
His work has been done. Okay? Listen, no, seriously, everybody, make sure you look him up. jamesbsamuels.com.
Yep.
Okay, and you can email him JBS.
Yep, at jamesbsamuels.com.
Our children are our now. All right, so let's just be mindful that they are human beings as well. Let's be thankful and mindful of our educators. Listen, they go through a lot and they don't get enough credit as far as I'm concerned. So once again, thank you for your service and thank you for all that you're doing. With our kids, with the educators as well. Guys, make sure you check them out. Make sure you subscribe to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast on YouTube and check out Jamie.
Yeah.
Nah, I done said it, Jamie. Yeah. He's also my god brother, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the cat's out today. I done called him Jamie already. This is Mr. James B. Samuels, but he's Jamie to me. But make sure you guys support. Is there anything that you would need from us in reference to like donations or anything like that? Or
no, not at this moment.
Okay.
I just think that just looking into it, I think educators and principals and superintendents, if staff wellness is something that you've been struggling with, hit me up. We'll have a conversation, whether building programming around that or actually coming into the space and like working with staff. I think that is, pretty much what I'm looking to do. So principals, superintendents, educators, hit me up, man. I think it's time. It's time to start taking care of the teachers. It's time to start taking care of our students, giving them those tools, front loading all of these issues that we are seeing and have been seeing for years.
Yes.
So let's tackle it in a different way. Absolutely.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
And on that note, we will see you. We will see you in September.
Yes.
When the curriculum is complete and it's up from there. Let's go, guys. 2023. We in the now.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I enjoyed you.
Yes.
I knew I would, but this was different. I feel better already because I'm in the moment, y'all.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to my Lady She podcast on YouTube. Later, guys.